Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ready, and we are going to fade. Are your microphones on?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Good evening. Welcome to our virtual Road to the Referendum presentation. My name is Jason Bull. I am the Director of Innovation, Strategy, Data, and Technology for the Watertown Unified School District. I want to thank the folks that have joined us this evening. Your engagement in our district and community is appreciated. Before we get started, I want to share a few logistics for everyone. First, we will begin the session tonight with a presentation around the why, what, and how of our referendum. We will follow that presentation with time for questions and answers. Questions can be submitted using the link on our website under the Operational Referendum tab, our district Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. For planning purposes, social media comments have currently been turned off to allow us to focus on the questions submitted through that provided link. Please use this link for all questions. Finally, a recording of this live session will be shared via social media and our website during the week of March 24th, 2025. With this, I would like to turn over our session over to Dr. Jared Burke, Superintendent of Watertown Unified School District, for our presentation. Dr. Burke.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for attending tonight's presentation. Ours is to give you some information about the referendum coming up for April 1st, and I hope that you have a lot of good questions so that we can answer them for you. Moving forward, we have some points of pride that we like to put out to you. We have 10 schools, over 3,100 students, about 530 to 540 staff members at any given time, and over $600,000 in scholarships have been awarded to our students in the last year from businesses. We really work hard with businesses and other entities to give scholarships, private donors, and other foundations. And I know that they really support our students in our schools, so that's a pride for us. We also have over 90 career and technical education courses, 23 AP courses available for students, and we have a number of students enrolled in AP courses, so over 400, almost 400 students. Another slide of points of pride here, dual language program, our 4-year-old kindergarten that we can have for our students. For 12 consecutive years, our students have been awarded the WUSD Best in Community for Music Education, and that's from the NAM Association. Watertown High School has been celebrated for 7 years from the U.S. News and World Report, and as being an outstanding school. We have a lot of programs that we can offer for our students in STEM programming, agricultural programming, and our STEM programming has won multiple awards. WUSD offers 2 different charter schools, Endeavor and our eCampus Academy. And we have a diverse set of extracurricular activities, over 40 high school activities and sports, 19 Division I athletics. So a lot to be proud of. And I will tell you that we've been working hard under a new strategic plan. That strategic plan involves tradition, innovation, and transformation, and that's our shared journey. And what that means to us is we know we have a tradition of offering good programming for our students and that they excel in that programming. We also know that we work hard to innovate our spaces, work with our industry to make sure students are ready to go right into the workforce or off to college. And that transformation, that means to us having continued improvement. WUSD is implementing an ambitious strategic plan right now, one that gives us a direction for offering excellence to our students. and one that inspires learning with student-centered education strengthened by community involvement. And in order to do that, we have been running into some funding issues. These funding issues aren't Watertown's alone. Matter of fact, Watertown has been very efficient in how we utilize our funding. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But our state funding system has been difficult for us. Wisconsin school districts are primarily funded in combination between state dollars and our local dollars. And when the state isn't putting in enough money into the system, we have to go out and ask for more money from our locals. That's what this referendum is about. Districts have been subject to a revenue limit imposed since 1993. And through that time, the legislature does and will allow that revenue limit to go up a little bit. But that is a state-imposed limit. So if assessed values go up, that doesn't necessarily always mean more money for the school district. Matter of fact, a lot of times it just means our mill rate going down and not any more money to spend. And sometimes even the money that comes in from the state is money that goes into the schools, but then goes right back out and passes through to the schools to our property taxes to lower property tax. And the legislature has done that. Over time, the revenue limit has failed to keep up with the pace of our inflation. And that's really what is happening with us here at the school district and many of our other school districts around us. A number of school districts right now, you will know, are going to referendum. A couple close ones by us are Hustisford, Dodgeland, Oak Creek, Waupun School District. All are seeking revenue to help them keep the doors open. Like most school districts, WUSD is challenged to balance its budget due to that inadequate funding system and a lack of state aid from the public schools in recent years, and mainly that rising cost of inflation. Some of the things that we're worried about are ongoing increasing expenses that are impacting all areas of our operation. Every year, we have to make sure that we're taking care of our staff and paying their salaries. And in most years, we try to give at least a little bit of a raise for people. Our benefits costs keep going up, transportation costs for students, food, utility costs. We're projecting a good 10% increase in utility costs over the next 2 years. And that physical, social, and emotional needs of our students have also increased dramatically. And we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit here. A good did you know is this: if our state revenues have kept pace over the last decade since 2009, school districts like the WUSD would receive about $3,200 more per student in the year 24-25. If we had those resources, we wouldn't really need to ask for a referendum. Matter of fact, here's what that looks like on a graph. The inflation is generalized. We know that inflation doesn't go up smooth. But the actual reimbursement from the state, and this comes from the Legislative Fiscal Bureau, shows that we are underperforming that inflation by $3,235 per student, which is a significant impact on our budget. And the state used to match the CPI, and they don't any longer. Matter of fact, the Department of Instruction has told us that they don't anticipate a change in that funding formula anytime soon. And the legislature, until they allow adequate funding through that formula and put the amount of funding in that we need, we're going to have to do the other thing. Like I said, if the state doesn't put in enough, then we have to ask more from the local. And if the state puts in more, we can ask less for our local tax levy. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff we've done. I've shared with you that we've been really fiscally responsible as best we can with our funding. Some of the expense reductions that we've done is we've provided employee wage increases less than the consumer price index in the last 2 years. We've deferred maintenance on our facilities and upkeep in our facilities. Matter of fact, another did you know is, did you know that we only approximate about $450,000 appropriate that in our budget each year for maintenance needs? That's less than just what we need for our high school. And when I talk about maintaining these, I'm talking about the everyday fixes, broken doors, desks that break, so on. We have to make sure that we fix those items and that we have a smooth running ship. Doing that on only $450,000 a year for this large of an organization is not adequate funding. We utilize one-time federal emergency funds, those ESSER funds, to do stuff like keep up on the curriculum that we've deferred costs in. We haven't been keeping up on new curriculum because we haven't had the funding, but we were able to use ESSER funds to do that and plug that hole, to also help put technology in the hands of our students and our teachers, and to do some much needed work on some of our HVAC systems to keep them going. We made changes to our employee health insurance plan, reduced the overall cost to the school district. But in doing that, we passed the cost on to our employee and we reduced the benefit structure for them. But we had to do that to make sure that we were keeping up with our expenses. We've also minimized spending on our curriculum and our professional development for our students. Everything we have is going mainly into our staffing costs and just general operations. Our proposed solution to this ordeal is to ask our community to help support us. We're asking that on Tuesday, April 1st, we're asking for a reoccurring operational referendum. And again, I'm telling you, I can't tell you to vote yes, and I'm not going to tell you to vote no. It would be illegal for me to do that. My job is to just give you information tonight and hope that you ask the good questions that you need to make an informed decision. And so I am telling you that on the ballot, we're going to have a question that looks at working on some of these things, like strengthening our school safety program. Some people said, well, what does that mean? I need more understanding of what that is. Well, in the last couple of years, or this last year, we added a resource officer at our elementary and working with the city. We have 2 years of funding for that position that we've allocated. But after that, it'll be hard for us to keep that position moving forward if we don't have the budgetary needs necessary for that. We're looking to increase the number of security cameras and fix some of the security cameras that are broken to ensure the safety of our students. And we want to improve the operation and monitoring of our exterior doors. We did some of that in our last referendum, but we still need to keep up on the maintenance of those doors to make sure that our outside envelope is protecting the students. But for the rest of this stuff, it's really to protect the programming that we've been doing. Without us being able to continue to fund this programming, we'll have class sizes that will have to increase and programming that we'll have to cut for our students. And so I won't go into the details of that right now tonight, but it could mean up to 60 to 80 positions that we would have to lose here in our district. The question itself is asking for about $70 on your taxes. So you're asking, how does this affect me? Well, if you had a home value of around $250,000, it'd be about $175 a year for you. And you can see using this table, if it's $300,000, this would be about $210,000. But at $250,000 of home value, property value, that's about 48 cents a day or just under $15 per month. We often talk about that as less than the cost of a streaming service. We've been working really, really hard to keep our mill rate down for you. Mill rate is how much you pay per $1,000 of property value. And you can see Watertown over here, we're at $5.99 per $1,000 of property value. You can see the other school districts here, Johnson Creek, Beaver Dam, Milton, Lake Mills, Waterloo. All of those, except for Hughesford, are higher than Watertown, meaning they pay more in taxes than you do for school aid. Matter of fact, the average is about $7.20. We're asking for a 70-cent increase. That wouldn't even get us to that average as a solution. We are asking for an operational referendum. It's not a capital referendum. So following that top line, we're looking at funding staffing programs, services, utilities and transportation, those kinds of things. Basically, it's to keep up on what we're doing. We're not looking for new money for new things. What we're looking to do is making sure that we keep the kind of programming that we have and that we do it effectively for students. Examples of where that money will go: it will go to continue to fund teacher salaries, transportation for students, technology, safety upgrades. I mentioned some of those cameras and outer doors that need to get fixed, and keeping that SRO officer. Instructional materials, our utilities, and extracurriculars. And that's all on the ballot for April 1st for consideration. We do not have a capital referendum on the ballot. WUSD, though, is engaged in a long-term facilities plan, and this summer and into next year, we're going to be looking at what are our future needs for a capital referendum. Capital referendums fund major building or construction renovation projects, and or large maintenance items that we couldn't do out of our regular budget, like funding roofs or HVAC work. But we're not asking for that again. We're asking for that operational referendum question. What will we have to think about in our community about what will happen with this referendum? Well, our commitment to the community translates to economic stability. If we were to have to lose 60 to 80 positions, we're the second largest employer in the area. That would have a devastating effect on some of our local businesses and other people to have that fewer people laid, or that many number of people laid off over the next 2 to 5 years. I've talked a little bit about future job market and job-ready students. We have over 120 students, I think 124, 125 students this year in an apprenticeship program. We have over 101 business mentors who help our students learn and grow on the job. And I will tell you, activities like that will be hard to continue. And so continuing to have future job-ready and market-ready students in all of those AP courses and those 90 career and technical education courses that we're talking about, those programs will have to be looked at to get to $7 million worth of cuts. Our schools are a community hub, and to make sure that they are serving our community, we need to keep them up. And make sure that they are ready to hold events. Also, economic development. A strong school district attracts good families and businesses. We know that strong schools are the heartbeat of our economy here, and that we work really, really closely with the city and our local businesses and all those people to make sure that we have a good economic, thriving city. And without a strong school district, that'll be a lot harder. And a strong school district and a strong local economy increases property value. So really, it's an investment in yourself as well as the school district. This is what our ballot language will look like. It will say, shall the Watertown Unified School District, Jefferson and Dodge counties, Wisconsin, be authorized to exceed the revenue limits specified in section 121.91 of the Wisconsin statutes by $7 million beginning in the 2025-2026 school year for recurring purposes and consisting of operational, instructional, and maintenance expenses. So that's really in itself the presentation. I'd like to get into the questions more now, but you can always find this material and others on our webpage by going to the QR code here or that small bit.ly, or just go to our webpage and click on referendum.
Thank you, Dr. Burke. Again, guests, if you have questions, please continue to submit them on our website under the Operational Referendum tab, our district Facebook page, or our YouTube channel. Dr. Burke, we have some questions. I'd like to just read those to you.
Sure.
The first question is around how is the district preparing for future growth and future changes in student needs? And what's the long term, and how does that impact the referendum this year?
Yeah, so actually we just did a study with MD Roffers. It was a population study to study and think about our enrollment. And that gave us some really good feedback. We do anticipate a decline in enrollment for the next decade, meaning we are going to shrink and our footprint's going to have to change. So we are anticipating that. But what it also shared with us is that though our population's decreasing, the number of students who are qualifying for special ed and our multilingual students are growing. So those are the students that need actually more support than just our regular general education population students. So we're keeping a keen eye on that and making sure that we have the resources available to make sure that we're meeting the needs of those students. But we are losing students. And with losing students, that will mean a decrease in funding from the state.
Thank you. I see the next question up here is around recurring. I know you touched on that in the slideshow and the presentation, but could you just add further depth to what recurring means?
Yeah, so recurring means that that $7 million that we're asking for, that won't go up, but that won't go down. It will sit as a one-time adjustment to our base mill rate, and it will stay there in perpetuity. And the reason that we are doing that is because we see that our continued expenses and continued prices of things keep rising. And right now, the state is inadequately funding us. Should the state start pitching in more, we can always, as a school district, and we will, under levy. So what we will do is we won't tax as much. We won't tax to the maximum authority that they're giving us. And we did that actually in our last referendum. Last referendum, we had a non-recurring referendum that was only 5 years, right? This one will be continuing. But on that one, the last year of that referendum, we did not tax to our full authority. And the reason we didn't is we saw the assessed values going up, and we wanted to try to provide some relief on that tax.
Thank you, Dr. Burke. I see a question here about the connection between referendum and academic progress or achievement for students. Could you speak to that connection, please?
Yeah, so like I said, we have a very strong strategic plan, one that talks about the tradition of our students, and we have students who do well. Yes, we have plans, and we know that some of our state test scores and other things are lagging behind what we would like to see. But we need those resources to make sure that we continue some of the progress we've made. In the last couple of years, we have seen growth in some areas, and we want to make sure that we keep doing it, getting at that. And we can only do that if we refresh our curriculum, make sure we have professional development, train our teachers, and make sure that we're providing everything we need for those students. And although we're not quite hitting the mark yet, we're well on our way. We got a good strategic plan, and we've got a lot of benchmarks that we're looking to hit, and we're starting to hit.
Thank you. I see a question here about fund balance and what is fund balance, and couldn't the district be utilizing fund balance versus referendum? Could you speak to that, please?
Yeah, so fund balance is the total number of assets that you have at the end of the year when you take a look at all your revenues, all your expenses, and what's left over. Okay, and we do have a fairly healthy fund balance right now. But we are burning through that fund balance by millions of dollars each year now that last referendum has tailed off. We took that 5-year referendum and we did stretch it out to 7 years. And again, we've been trying to be very fiscally responsible. However, in the next 2 years, this year and next, we're going to run through all of the fund balance we have. The state says you can't do that. You can't get past zero. You have to make sure that you have a positive fund balance. And next year, should this not pass, we may be getting ourselves into a situation where we don't have enough cash reserves on hand to meet payroll. So that means we're going to have to do short-term borrowing and other expensive things to make sure that we have the cash on hand when we need it to pay payrolls and other things. And then when the money from taxes come in, we would pay off that loan. We don't want to do that if we don't have to. It's very inefficient and it's costly to the school district.
Thank you. Let's see one remaining question here. It speaks to what is next if the referendum does not pass. Could you just add some more details to that, please?
Yeah, so if the referendum doesn't pass, boy, that's going to be a difficult time for us. I shared a couple of things, and I'll share a little bit more detail right now. One of the first things that we'll probably have to do is we'll have to go to our school board and ask the school board to change our high school graduation expectation down to the state minimum requirement. Right now, the students who graduate from us earn about 1.5 credits above the state minimum requirement for graduation. And we're glad to be able to have that because that allows us to teach a number of different AP courses or CTE courses or other courses for students that they're interested in. We'll have to make sure that we cut some of those courses and our class sizes will rise. We'll have to do the same also at our elementary school and middle school. We'll have to raise class sizes, which means laying off people and laying off some supports in those classrooms, whether it's paras or other supports, custodial administration supports, and so on. But it will be a change over the next 3 to 5 years, the next 3 especially, as we need to get into a budget that is supported by the community, but still doesn't go below that zero fund balance.
Thank you. I am not seeing any further questions. Before I close us out here, Dr. Burke, do you have any final words for our audience here?
Yes, again, mine is just to give information, and if anybody has further questions, there are places that you can go to on our webpage to send those in, or just call my office or email me. I'd be happy to engage you in any kind of conversation. If you still have questions, please reach out to us. Our job is to give you the information and not tell you how to vote. But I do hope you get out and vote April 1st. Thank you guys for attending and watching this Road to the Referendum broadcast. I hope that this information is helpful and useful to you, and I really appreciate you joining. Oh, is there another question? All right.
Please, let's take a look at it. We had a question just come in. Just putting on our screen here. This question is about the, thank you for submitting this. Talks about the state funding and the state budget having a surplus. Can you talk about, Dr. Burke, it's a great question. Can you talk about the connection between state surplus and independent districts?
Yeah, it actually says something along the lines of, why isn't WUSD aggressively requesting $7 million?
Yes.
We are. Please contact Senator John Jagler, Mr. Will Penterman, I just lost the last one, but contact our people. They're great. They do support education. There is a tussle between the state right now and maybe the governor's office. Listen, this is impacting not only school districts, it's impacting cities, counties. All of us are having a hard time keeping up on things like roads and other things. And yes, I do hope that our state puts more money into the formula for schools. I really do. And I work with our lobbyists, not the school district lobbyists, but the lobbyists from the Superintendent Foundation and the school board lobbyists to really aggressively talk to our legislature about what our needs are. And I get it, they have needs across the whole state. But I do hope that they put money into our school formula. Until then, I'm also asking you aggressively, please think about what I've said and vote your conscience on April 1st. Whether or not you can support this referendum or not.
All right. I am seeing no further questions. Again, I want to thank Dr. Burke for the presentation and answering those questions. I always want to thank the tech team that is working diligently behind the scenes to put this together. And finally, thank you for tuning in to our virtual Road to the Referendum presentation. This has been recorded, and we will push this out via social media and our website next week, the week of March 24th, 2025. Thank you again, and if you have further questions, please connect with us, and we'd be happy to answer questions as they arise.
Thank you, and have a good night.
Good evening.